Welcome back to Financial Abundance. We are in class number 2, where you get to learn how to live a life you love while saving for your future. Okay, looking at the schedule one more time, you are in class number 2. We're going to talk about beliefs and behaviors, what really guides you in your daily decision making. Again, my name is Katherine Vanderlaan. I help people make more money, save money, and then know what to do or what they can do with it after it's saved. I love what I do. I love that you're here, and I love that you get to learn financial fundamentals in this course. So today we're talking about financial beliefs and behaviors. Really, it's about building an abundance mindset. Now, I see you guys here, those who are hearing abundance mindset, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this course has turned into fluff. Katherine is only going to talk about fluff and beliefs and stuff that really doesn't matter. She's going to talk about manifesting and just believing and it'll be true. That is absolutely not what we're talking about. I'm from Boston. We don't do fluff here. It is too cold. We would die. So the only fluffy thing in Boston are our jackets. So we're going to talk about things that matter, really move the needle, things that will get you to make the decisions, daily decisions that will help you follow your budget. Last time we talked about Saver Street and Spender Street. Are you going to go down Spender Street or are you going to turn around, backtrack through Spender Street and start going down Saver Street? Sometimes our actions and our intentions don't look the same. I've been there. You've been there. I'm sure none of us are perfect, only Jesus. So sometimes we plan things, we have a budget, and what we decide doesn't match with what we do doesn't match with what we decided. It happens to the best of it. Actually, it happens to all of us. We're not robots. So let's talk about what it really means to follow a budget. Now, I want to address one thing, one huge thing. Most of us have been told that we're lazy or disorganized, and that's why we aren't getting ahead. That happens all the time. I hear that all the time. I've been called lazy. I've been called disorganized. That's my problem. That's not it. That's not it. What we do is influenced by our deepest beliefs about ourselves and about money. Let's get into that. That is a truth, I promise you. Let's talk about financial beliefs and behaviors. We all have beliefs. Beliefs are things we accept to be true in our lives. Okay? That's all a belief is. Every single one of us has a bunch of beliefs. We usually form these beliefs in childhood and throughout young adulthood. Okay? So childhood and through college. That is the foundation of each one of our belief systems. Because we believe certain things to be true, those beliefs have a huge impact on our lives. Okay? Stay with me here. I promise it isn't fluffy. Beliefs, your beliefs, what you believe, turn into thoughts. So if you believe that you're bad with money, you're going to start thinking that you're bad with money and that you can't make good financial decisions. Your belief about yourself and the world and about money then becomes a bigger thing, what you tell yourself every day. But if I believe that I'm really good with money, and then I will follow the plan that I've created. I will follow with confidence that plan every single day. Okay, following me here? Thoughts turn into feelings. Feelings become actions. If you feel like you have a good plan, then you're going to make the decisions, you're going to take the actions that carry out your plan. But if you feel uneasy, if you are not confident, if you think that you're going to make bad money decisions, you're not going to follow your plan because you think it's a bad plan. See? So belief turns into thoughts, which turn into feelings, which turn into actions. Your actions then influence the experiences you have in the world. This is a feedback loop, guys. As you are in the world, you are building an understanding of how the world works and who you are in it. So it's important to reflect every now and then on what you believe about yourself and the world and money. Okay. All right. That was a lot. This is a whole theory. A lot of people use this theory in coaching and in therapy. I'm not a therapist. They use this to help people understand who they are and how the world works and what is going on in our daily decision making and how we are changing ourselves and the world. But let me tell you this. I have talked to a lot of people who think that their beliefs are unchangeable, unchangeable. But that's not true, is it? They believe that their beliefs are unchangeable, but that belief is not true and it's also not helpful because they ground themselves in who they are and saying, I can't do any better and I can't change myself. Your experiences change your feelings, which change your thoughts, which change your beliefs. You are changing all of the time, and your beliefs about the world can change. So today we're going to reflect on what you believe about yourself, the world, and money. Not everything we believe is true or helpful. Okay, pause. This is how I define positive. A positive belief is something that is true or helpful. We're going to be talking a lot about negative and positive here. I am not a proponent of toxic positivity. We are not going to sugarcoat everything. We're not going to paint it with rose-colored paint or put rose-colored glasses on. We are not being positive for the sake of positive. We are creating and reflecting on positive beliefs uh, in relation to negative beliefs because positive beliefs are true and helpful. Negative beliefs are either untrue or unhelpful or both. Finding beliefs that are true will set you free. I know that's a cliche, it is true. Okay, so finding beliefs that are true, this is in your workbook, please be taking notes, will set you free. So let's get into these negative and positive beliefs. Here's the negative belief that I hear all the time, all the time. We already addressed it. I'm really bad with money and I can't get any better. Well, I'm sorry, that's not true. That's not true, and it's not helpful. So on the flip side of things, so the true and helpful belief is I make better money decisions every day. Now, if I were coaching you and you said this negative belief or it came out in a discussion, I would say go take a Post-it note, write that positive belief in your own words and put it somewhere that you can see and repeat it every day. Okay? So if that's you, keep that process in mind and change your life. Really, really. And remember, I'm from Boston. This is not fluffy. This really works. Here's another negative belief. If I have a lot of money, that makes me a greedy person. Now, that's not true at all, and it's really not helpful. So the positive on this side of things is it's important to plan and save for my needs later. We're going to get into that a little bit more. Here's another one. My parents didn't teach me about money, and it's all their fault. Yeah, I hear that a lot because I'm in coaching. I talk about parents, and we're going to be talking about that in another one of these classes. The positive side of this, the true and helpful belief, is my parents didn't teach me about money. True, if it's true for you, but I can change my family tree. Okay. And the last one, I'll have to give up everything I love to save enough to retire. Oh boy, does that hold a lot of people captive. The positive, the true and helpful side of this is I can live a life I love while saving enough for retirement. Okay, that is true and it's helpful. Financial abundance. This is in your workbook. Write it down. Financial abundance is a mindset full of personal responsibility, value-based spending, and giving. Okay, let me say that one more time. Financial abundance is a mindset full of personal responsibility, value-based spending, and giving. We're going to talk about a few of those. Definitely value-based spending. That is a big part of today. All right, let's discuss this first belief set. Your negative belief and the positive belief counterpoint. This is predominant. This is the number one thing that I hear. I'm really bad with money and I can't get any better. That is not helpful, is it? If you have said that to yourself, I'm sorry, it does not pass the test. It is not true and it is not helpful. So your counterpoint to this is I make better money decisions every day. Now, how? A lot of people ask me, how can I make better money decisions every day? How can I prove this to myself? What you track, you improve. What you track, you improve. Okay? So if you are tracking your spending and you are tracking it against your budget, guess what? You're going to improve. That is a law of humankind. What you track, you improve. Okay. Next one. If I have a lot of money, that makes me a greedy person. Sorry, not true, not helpful. Okay? It's keeping you back. If this is your belief, it is keeping you back. Be honest if it is. You don't have to tell me right now, but please be honest with yourself. The helpful and true counterpoint to this is it's important to plan and save for my needs later. Saving and investing will help you provide for your needs during retirement. If you are not saving, if you think having a lot of money, however you define that, would make you a bad or greedy person, then actually what you're doing is, you could be generous right now, but you're not saving enough for your needs later. Very, very often, this is what I see. You're not saving enough for your needs later. You're not investing enough for your retirement. And really what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to rely on other people when I get to the point where I can't work. Which one is the greedy person? The person who spent all of their money while they had it instead of saving for their needs later, and then relied on people as they got older and couldn't work? Or the person who is modest and saved enough for their needs later and didn't need to rely on the people around them or charity when they got too old or too immobile to work? Moving on. My parents didn't teach me about money, and it's all their fault. It's not their fault. It kind of is a little bit, but that's not really helpful, is it? So maybe your parents didn't teach you about money, but you can learn about money. You can change your family tree. Take personal responsibility, guys. Everybody starts somewhere, but you can manage your money better than your parents by getting an education and taking action. Now, right now, you're getting an education. You're learning about money. You need to also take action because knowledge is nothing without action. Okay? You can manage, I'm going to say it again, you can manage your money better than your parents by getting an education and taking action. If you were here in the last class, which I hope you were, and you did not do the homework, which is right on the last page of class 1 about building your budget, you have another chance. There is another link to a different way, or actually it's a very similar way, to build a budget and make it personal to you. Take action and you will change your family tree. Okay. Last negative belief that we're going to go through right now. I'll have to give up everything I love to save enough to retire. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. It's also super unhelpful. The positive side of this, the true and helpful side of this, is I can live a life I love while saving enough for retirement. And I'm here to tell you today, you absolutely can. This is what value-based spending is all about. Value-based spending brings satisfaction while you save for your needs, your future needs. I'll say that one more time. Value-based spending brings satisfaction while you save for your future needs. Let's get into a little bit of a workshop and activity today. I'm going to guide you through it here. You can get ahead, you can do it on your own. Facilitators will be here to help you and guide you. Let's talk about value-based spending. What is value-based spending? What does that mean to you? When you hear it, what comes to mind? A lot of people will say, "Oh, it's spending based on something that's valuable. It's spending only on valuable things, right? It's quality versus quantity." Value-based spending is spending money based on your values, but the end result is that you get more out of life and you feel more content with life. So this is all about feeling good about your decisions, feeling proud about your spending, and content with your purchases. So this is how you live financial abundance in a financial abundant mindset, right? By practicing value-based spending. The very first step is identifying your core values. Your core values, not mine. I don't really care if you like my core values. We're talking about your core values. First, let's define what a value is. Values are basic and fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate our attitudes and actions. This is so important that I didn't have a fill in the blank in your workbook. I want you to know this. I want you to grasp this. So they are fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate our attitudes or actions. These are our values. Your top 3 values could be anything. Here are the top 3 values that come to mind or that appear really, really often. These are the 3 possible the possible ideas. These are things that I hear a lot. So go ahead and as we pause for a moment and dive into the value-based worksheet, I'm going to leave this on the screen with a little countdown somewhere here, but I want you to read through, this is the level we're talking at, and go through the value-based spending worksheet that is right in your workbook, because this is very important for you to find your core values and then apply them by answering all the different questions that are in that worksheet. Okay. Let's dive into the value-based spending worksheet. So here's again the possible ideas. Go ahead and take the next 10, 15 minutes and go through the workbook. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the value-based spending exercise. I know a lot of people most of the time get just a ton out of that exercise. If you didn't have time to finish it up, please finish it up at home. It is super valuable. Those last few questions are very applications based. They're going to help you a lot. Okay, now it's time to make this a little easier. It's time to talk about tracking your expenses. This is not a big deal, guys. A lot of people think that it's this magical thing or it's really hard. It does not need to be difficult. Have you noticed that tracking and categorizing your expenses is a little bit like pulling teeth? Yeah, oh gosh, it's so hard. People seem to think actually it's not actually that hard. We're going to go into that. But I know you need to know that you need to do it. You need to do it. If you're looking at your decisions and your money, you need a feedback loop. You need to know what decisions you're making. If you're married, you need to be at this, doing this as a team. We get into that in the marriage side, in the marriage class. But tracking your spending is all around seeing the decisions that you're making and deciding whether those are the decisions that you really want to make. Sometimes, and you might have seen this last week, between last week and now, sometimes you know that you need to track your expenses. You absolutely need to do it. And you stop and you really don't want to do it. You don't want to categorize everything. Time keeps marching on and it's getting more and more painful. And you still haven't done it because it hurts. Because it hurts. Let's change that. Remember, what you track, you improve. Tracking your expenses can be easy and semi-automatic. It's not going to be super automatic, but pretty darn close. Okay? You have a few options for tracking your expenses. Some people love a pen and paper. I've worked with a lot of people who love that pen and paper. That is very manual. It's very manual. If that is your method, you absolutely can do it. Please feel free to use a pen and paper in a notebook, in a budget planner, or in a checkbook. When I first started budgeting, I did it in a checkbook, the super old-fashioned way. Absolutely start wherever you want. Another option is online. Manually, semi-manually, or mostly automatically. And we're going to go through some options. I use almost every budgeting program out there because of what I do. So I'm going to tell you about a few of them, and you can decide what to use if you decide to go on the online route. Whichever you choose, you need to be consistent and disciplined. And I'm not joking about this. You absolutely need to be consistent and disciplined. Stick to your choice for 3 months before trying something else. So pick something and stick with it. All right, let's just talk about your online options. There are quite a few. Some banks even offer their own proprietary budgeting apps. Absolutely go with that if that's what you want. Banks or credit cards usually have the free option. It's okay, they're not great. Then you have two other major options that you can use. You can either use something called YNAB. It is an acronym for You Need a Budget. So just Google You Need a Budget or YNAB. That is a very hands-on budgeting app. Super hands-on. So it uses its own method for budgeting. If you need a guide, if you need somebody who is going to force you to budget, if you need that and you want somebody or a computer who is going to go through and just force you to reconcile your money and every time you go in, then use YNAB. Great. It's hands-on. It's a good budgeting app for tracking your expenses and managing your money. I personally prefer another app called Monarch Money. It is beautiful. I love tracking my goals in it. I love categorizing expenses and setting up rules. I love that it is very automatic once you set it up. It is also gorgeous. So Monarch Money is a very good option for tracking your expenses. Now, both of these cost money, and that's okay, because looking at your finances, having something that's going to help you know where your money is going and help you plan for your financial future will save you way more money than that is costing. Like, I'm talking thousands, like just so much more than what that costs. It is a drop in the bucket compared to what you can save. Build your new tracking habit. So I just talked about tracking. I talked about the online options. I talked about using pen and paper. Decide what you're going to do and then build that new tracking habit around a habit you already have. Think of something you do at least every other day. What is that thing? Now, it shouldn't be something like drinking water, because you're not going to drink a sip of water and then go check your budget. But you might look at your emails a few times a day, or you might look at your schedule for the next day in the evening. Whatever it is, what is that thing? You identify that thing in your lives and then add tracking your budget to the end of that habit. I told you we were going to connect the dots. Let's connect the dots. So your positive, your true and helpful belief here is, I make better money decisions every day. How does that translate to what you do? That means I will track my spending at least every other day. If you're making better money decisions every day, you are tracking your expenses, because tracking your expenses is how you know what you're doing and know what you can improve. Okay. Next one, it's important to plan and save for my needs later. Well, you have to know what those are, right? We're gonna get to that in the retirement bit. The behavior here and your commitment. Circle the ones that you commit to. Write them down and then circle the ones that you commit to. Okay. I will budget, plan my money moves, and save for the future. Okay. That doesn't mean every single move. You can have a whole budget section that is for spontaneous spending or spontaneous giving. I love those categories. I love those, but it's in the plan to be spontaneous. Okay. Another positive belief. My parents didn't teach me about money, but I can change my family tree. I will continue to seek education around money and at how I can better set my family up. If this is your first financial course, this is just the start. Start reading things about money. Start reading things about how the government is changing financial regulation. Start reading about different accounts that you could set up. I know a lot of people will take this course and might then stop, but go, please, I urge you, go and read more about what you can do with your money. The more you know, the more options you'll have around your finances, and the better you will be with money. So then you can set your family up. All right, last one. I can live a life I love while saving enough for retirement. Here's the behavior. I will change my spending to match my values. I bet you found a bunch of things in your spending over the last week, maybe over the next week you'll find it, that don't match your values. Change that. Take them out. It's not helping you. It is not fulfilling you. It is not making you satisfied with your money. So change it. It's not going to hurt that much. Change always hurts just a little bit, but it really, over the long term, it doesn't hurt that much. It hurts more to not change than to change. Okay. I have a little bit of homework for you. This is in your workbook. The QR code is in your workbook. This is a very quick course on how to manage your budget, how to set it up, how to track it. I'm constantly changing it as software updates. So if this is out of date, don't worry about it. I'm keeping it up to date. So this QR code will not change. So go ahead and look at this Budgeting Made Easy course and take everything you learned in the last 2 lessons and apply it to yourself. Okay. I am really excited to see you in the next lesson. I know it's not everybody's favorite one. We're going to talk about insurance, but I promise you it is helpful. So go in, make sure you're not being scammed, come to the next lesson, and figure out what kind of insurance you need and what you don't need. I'll see you then.